So about working at Old Navy.
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm coming back with a new topic, and I'm revisiting one of my old topics I used to talk about, which was retail, which I feel like is a really interesting topic. And I decided to really get into detail about one of the jobs I actually worked at, which was Old Navy. So I know this should be a really interesting video. Navy was one of those jobs. It was one of my first jobs I got when I first started college, which was maybe 5 years ago. And it was one of my, you know how you get your first real job, you get a paycheck, you got to do taxes for. That was Old Navy for me. And I was really excited because it's it was my first job, and it was at a Old Navy in my neighborhood that I used to shop at all the time, especially, going there with my mother as a kid and just shopping there on my leisure time on a regular weekend or whatever. So for me to be working there, it was okay. And one of the best perks, if you didn't know, working with Gap Inc., you get a 50% off discount. So that was another big thing. And if you know anything about Old Navy is Gap Inc., right? It's Old Navy, Gap, and then Banana Republic. Old Navy is the cheapest version of all the stores. It's they're supposed to have the cheapest clothes, the cheapest prices, as they say. And, that's just the basis of it. And I'm pretty sure y'all know about Old Navy. So me working there, I remember going, it was they had a job fair, and it was everybody was lined up. I had my little nice outfit on with my pea coat, and I didn't have no type of retail experience or nothing. I did the interview with the girl, and she was like, oh, no. She put me to the next level, the next round, which was a group interview. And that was a thing where we had to, I remember we was in a group on the second floor, and they was talking to us about this and that. And one of the main things we had to do was they gave us 1 minute to go find a random item and come back and sell it to them. It was 2 managers. And I remember I found a jacket. And I was like, this is good for this. And she went around in a circle saying she would pick me as one of the salespeople because she liked the way I sold the jacket. And it was all right, boom, boom, boom. We're going to let you guys know in a week. And lo and behold, a week later, I got a call from them saying, oh, we'd like you to come in and sign and meet with the general manager, which basically means you got it. But it's the general manager just want to see how you work or see how you look and whatever. So I remember one day after school, I went, met with the general manager, signed the paperwork, and everything was good, right? But then, mind you, this is during holiday season, November. But then it's she was like, all right, we're going to get in contact with you. But then I realized it's 2 weeks went by, nothing. And I'm like, really? So then I go to the store, and I see the general manager in the elevator. And she's looking at me smiling. I'm like, and then I'm like, does she know? Don't she remember me? Don't she remember me? I know she remembered me because I signed the paperwork. I'm supposed to be working now. And I'm like, it's been 2 weeks. They should have called me. So then I don't know why I didn't say nothing then. I went home and I called the store and I was like, wait, when are the holiday workers supposed to start? And they was like, oh, they started last week. And I'm like, see, this is my first sign about how unorganized and how dysfunctional they were. But, it was my first job, so, I was still going to go along with it. So then I remember, and I wear glasses when I'm not doing videos. So when I told her, I said, wait, you don't remember me? I signed the paperwork last week, 2 weeks ago. I'm the one with the glasses. And I seen you in the elevator today. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We're going to have blah, 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 get in contact with you so you can sign the paperwork, whatever. So long story short, I came in another day after school, a couple of days later, signed the paperwork with one of the managers. The LP person, if you don't know, LP is loss prevention, which is basically security. And they be dressed in disguise so the customers won't know security is really watching them. She came and explained to me about safety, blah, blah, blah. Then one of the managers who I did the group interview with, she was telling me about this and that, helping me do the paperwork, your tax information, stuff like that. So then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to sign the paperwork and go home. She was like, you want to start today? I'm like, now mind you, in my head, I'm like, damn, I wasn't prepared to start today. I was just going to go home and start my homework. But I was like, it's my first day. I don't want to say you starting a job and they ask you if you want to start. You don't want to say no. So I'm like, okay. You know, then I remember it was another girl who had just came in. It was her first day too, and we was the only two, the only two new ones starting. She started, I started that same day, right? Then it was like okay. She came in, and we was talking and laughing and getting to know each other. Then it was this guy. He wasn't a manager, but he was like a trusted employee that had like manager duties, but he wasn't really a manager. You know how certain employees, they work their way up to where the managers trust them to do manager type stuff? That's what he was. He came in and he was talking to us and telling us about this and that. Now mind you, at this point I didn't get it. I know the store, but they didn't give me a tour of the store. They didn't give me a tour of the stock room. The girl either. They didn't give us a tour of nothing. Now, mind you, how I said I was figuring out how disorganized and dysfunctional they were. They didn't give us a tour of nothing. Like, they were just telling us about, customer service and Old Navy cards, which I'm going to get to in a minute, if y'all know anything about the Old Navy cards. And this and that, right? And mind you, we supposed to go on a tour of the store. We didn't know about the bathroom. We didn't know about the password to get back in the stock room. Nothing. We didn't know about what area was what area was this, where was this, where was that. So basically, he's in the middle of talking to us, right? And then this girl, she comes in and says, say his name was John, whatever. She's like, John, I need you to do this and do that. And he looked at both of us, and you know what he said? He was like, all right, sink or swim. And just left us. And we was just looking at each other like, what the? We was like, what? He was like, sink or swim, and just left us. And then the manager was like, come downstairs with me. And she was like, I'm going to have y'all two working the floor today. And we just looking at each other like we didn't know nothing about nothing. And mind you, she just had us on the floor. We started working, right? Then I remember all day we didn't know what nothing was. Customers come up to me asking me stuff. Customers come up to her asking her stuff. She didn't know what nothing was. I didn't know what nothing was. And it was a thing where we was helping each other out that whole night. It was like from maybe a 4-hour shift we did. She would bring customers to me and I would help them find whatever. I would bring customers to her. She would help them find whatever. And we were just winging it basically. And I remember people would come and ask us, do you have this in the back? And we'll be like, okay, we'll go check. And mind you, we didn't know nothing about the stock room, the password to it or nothing. So I would just go in the corner where the stock room was, stand there for like 10 seconds and be like, sorry, we didn't have it. And the thing is, it's like, they didn't give us a walkie, they didn't give us nothing. And they didn't give us nothing to really set us up for this. Like, first of all, you surprised me by asking me if I want to work today. Then y'all don't even give me a proper tour. Y'all didn't give me a proper introduction or nothing. Y'all just basically, it was just two people they just hired. That's okay, let's just throw them on the floor. That's 2 extra heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel like they was thinking. So I'm just like, oh my God, whatever. That whole night was just crazy. And over the next 2 months, it was all right because they had me working in many sections. I got used to the store. I got used to the layout. About folding, this and that. Now, mind you start a new job, especially retail, you're supposed to learn how to work the register, right? They never told me how to work the register. If you've been into Old Navy or a Gap in the last 2 to 3 years, you know they had like the little mobile devices, which is basically an iPhone with like a credit card device attached to it. Basically, where it's like, if the line get long, you're the person that's supposed to go to the line, like credit or debit, anybody paying credit or debit, and then people come to you and you have your own little station, your own little portable station in the corner somewhere where you ringing people up, you scanning with the device, you scanning the things, putting any codes or, you have your bags and all of that, right? Now imagine, for some reason, I don't know what it was, I became like, the first 2 months I was just doing sections on the floor, whatever. But for the last 7 months, they had me just working the mobile. And if you know about mobile, that shit is a headache. Like, after a while, it gets annoying. Because first of all, imagine it's a whole, y'all know how crazy Old Navy could get, how long the lines could be. Imagine going to a line of people, and people, it's a whole line of people, maybe 15, 20 people on the line. You saying anybody paying credit or debit? And y'all know most people pay credit or debit now. A whole bunch of people will come out of line. Some of them would just still stay there, and they come to me, right? And I'm bringing, and I have a line full of 10 people on my little portable line, and all of a sudden, imagine you ringing people up, or you in the middle of ringing somebody up, right? And your device freezes, it gets stuck, the card don't work, or they go to sign, it gets frozen, and this and that, and it was just crazy. And another thing, imagine then people complaining, oh, you got me out of line for this, you got me out the line for this, oh my God, and then I'm standing there stuck in the middle. I'm calling people over the walkie, nobody's answering. Then I got a whole bunch of people took out of line to do this thing with the mobile device that's frozen, that don't work. It's always getting stuck. It was horrible. And mind you, I did this for 7 months straight. Like, people was calling me like the mobile king. Like, I was the one of the ones that was like mobile. Like, when they see me, it was like, oh, Tony's here, he gonna do mobile. Okay, Tony, get this line down. This is when like it started to become miserable working there. And another thing, if any of y'all worked at Gap Inc., talking about Old Navy, Gap, or Banana Republic, y'all know about the cards, the store credit cards. That is the worst. The managers will hound you down. Like, if you don't get enough cards, they make you feel bad. They try to hold it over your head. They try to hold your position over your head. Like, and Old Navy, they call them ONCs, Old Navy credit cards. Every day, it was. I remember I had this one Caribbean lady who was a manager, and she would be like, Tony, give me mobile, do mobile, give me some ONCs, give me ONCs. After 2 hours, 3 hours of your shift, how many ONCs you got me? And if you didn't get none, they would hold it over your head and make you feel bad. And they even had a list in the back where it was like the top people that get ONCs. And mind you, they never told me how to do the register, so I didn't know how to get credit cards on a big register. They always wanted me to get them on a little mobile device that always gets frozen and messed up, by the way, like I said. So imagine they wanted you to get people out the line with a device that never really works, and they want me to get credit cards, and sometimes in the middle of signing people up for a credit card, and y'all know that's people personal information, the thing will get frozen, and people put in their information in, their address, their social in, and the thing's getting frozen, and I gotta restart it, and they're like, wait, where's my information going? And I'm just standing there like, I don't know, because they don't tell me this. They want you to get cards with devices that didn't work, with people personal information, and you just, it's all on you, because you're the ones that they just send out there to do it. And it's like, I thought, wow, imagine doing this for 7 months straight. I became miserable working there, to the point where it's like I would dread going there. Like, after school, if I had a shift, I would just be like, on the bus there going there, on the train going there, I'd just be like, oh my God, I got a shift, and then another thing, some of the managers were all right, but some of the managers were really dumb acting. Some of them were cool. And y'all know, y'all have them cool managers. Do y'all know those managers that's just like, they just, for better or lack of words, they're just assholes for no reason. There's managers that, it's a big section, right? Y'all know t-shirts are $2. Y'all know this is gonna get messed up. I had this one manager, she was real stupid acting. She know the t-shirts were $2. I'm trying to fold, I'm on a section folding it. I'm folding a pile, right? Then she comes to me, and then mind you, as I'm folding a pile, the customers are coming and messing up what I just fixed. So imagine folding 3 piles. You on the next 3, then the first 3 that you just folded, people coming and flipping it and getting us, you know what I'm saying? So she was always coming to me like, oh, why is this section not done yet? Da, da, da. And imagine, I went on my break, and I came back from my break. She knew I went on my break. And then as soon as I'm starting to fold the t-shirts table again, she coming up to me like, oh, why is this section not done? And I said, I just came back from my break. And she's like, oh, that's no excuse. She just going back and forth with me, like really acting stupid. I'm just looking at her like, it was to the point where it's like harassment. I'm like, what's wrong with this lady? Then it's managers that they didn't really care about nothing else. They just wanted you to get cards. If you didn't get enough cards, like make you feel bad and like hold your position over your head, like, oh, part of your job description is getting cards, right? Y'all gotta understand that Old Navy cards, people don't want to just give some people want to come in there, get a nice little $5 shirt, some nice $20 jeans and go about their business. Nobody want to give their personal information for a credit card. Like, I gotta understand that. And no matter how it was times where they had 60% off if you get an Old Navy credit card, people would still be like, no, I'm alright. If I'm offering you 60% off if you sign up for this credit card and you still don't want it, people know the game. Customers are smart. Like, it's not like 5-10 years ago. People know how these things work with the cards, and sometimes it will be a lot of problems with the credit cards too. Y'all want people to sign up for these cards, and then y'all have all these problems down the line, and it's messing up people's credit and all this other stuff. So it's like, that's the thing. They need to work on their credit card system, because it's like the way they it's like almost like they want you to steal people's identity just to get a credit card sign up for the day. So it's like they can add that to the list of how many credit cards they got. The credit cards were so annoying. Oh my God. And another thing is, like, y'all know how messy Old Navy can be. Some of them are really cool, but the one I was at, it was in a popular location, and it got really messy sometimes. And imagine just having to clean all that up. And some customers were nice, where they see you doing it and they be like, oh, can you help me? Oh, I don't want to mess up what you just worked on. Other customers, they didn't care. They'll come right in. Oh, they want a large. Flip it like this, flipping it like, I'm like, they see me over here in the corner fixing it, and and I'm like, do you need help? And I hate when you ask them, oh, do you need help with that? No, I'm alright. Flip. Like, just messing up. I'm like, I'm just standing there like, and then they look at me and just walk right off to the next section. And you just be looking at people like, now this is what I tell you, working in retail. Now, I was never really a messy shopper, but if you work in retail, when you go out shopping, you have sympathy for the workers, because you know how it is to be working in a section and have somebody just mess it up. So I'm more careful now when I shop, and when I want to pull out a size, and when I want to hang out and do this, whatever. It makes you more careful. It makes you more careful, and it makes you have more sympathy for the people that work there, because at the end of the night, they gotta close, they gotta fix that, and it's like some managers, they get real crazy about that. And I know it's like, you don't want to close a store and it be messy, but if it's not perfect, if it's not this, if it's not straight, lined up, stickers, like, they have you're supposed to leave at 10, you're not leaving until 11:30, because the store got so messy from customers messing it up all day. You've been asking them, you need help, and they say no, and they go mess it up anyway. It's like, it's that, what are you supposed to do? And like I said, other managers were cool. The co-workers were cool, some of them. And it's like, especially when you get to close with some of them, you really get to talk without the distraction of the customers. So I got really cool with some people, and you know how you exchange social medias, you exchange numbers or whatever. And that's another thing. You get to meet a lot of nice, cool people, and y'all become friendly or whatever. Now, this is 4 years ago. I don't talk to really none of them no more. I still have them on social media, but it's not the same when I was working there. But then it's also those coworkers that you're never going to really mesh with. No matter how much contact you have with them, the energy, the vibe they give off, just like certain managers, you're just never really going to vibe or mesh with, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, like I said before in my other video, I'm just here to make money, here to work. I don't come to work to make friends. If you end up making friends or becoming friendly with somebody, that's cool, that's great. But at the end of the day, I'm here to get this check every other Friday. I'm not here to make friends and socialize, and so at the end of the day, it was what it was. So basically, my experience working at Old Navy was crazy. It was crazy, dysfunctional. I was miserable, and that's the thing. With retail, it could either be a win or lose, or in the middle. Some shifts are good, some shifts are bad, and it's like an in between. But it's one of those things where if you don't want to go into fashion merchandising, or if it's like, okay, that's a job that you have when you in high school and college, or it's a job that you keep if you need to get by. I appreciate the experience and the work experience and the skills I learned working there, but my overall experience there, it became like miserable. And it's like, to be honest, at that location, for those 10 months I was working there, the customers, considering the area, wasn't that bad. But because I said, it's like for every one rude customer, there were like 5 nice ones who was like nice and funny, and you could have like little funny conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? Because really, the nice customers really brighten up your shift. Because sometimes you get those rude customers, people always talk about, but then you get them really nice customers who you crack jokes with and you know what I'm saying? You just have nice little funny moments with them. And it's cool. Some customers, it's just a transaction, it's just business. It's a scan them and go. But other customers, you really have a nice little conversation with, you know what I'm saying? So the customers wasn't really that bad. It was just the management was a problem, the little mobile devices was a problem, and they didn't really do everything they were supposed to. From when they were first hiring me and they forgot to call me back, to when they had me stuck on a device for 7 months without teaching me the real register. They didn't really teach me all of the different jobs that I was supposed to learn. Like, how I've been there for 10 months and I don't know how to use a register. And there was one point where it got really busy and one of the managers said, "Oh, jump on the register for me." Mind you, this is me 4 months in. And I said, "Oh, y'all never told me, y'all never register trained me." And she looked at me and was like, and she looked at the girl behind me and was like, "Oh, jump on the register." And I looked at her like, "Really?" So, that just goes to show where their thought process was at right there. So, in a nutshell, Old Navy was an okay experience. It was my first real job. I just had started college. Just was coming out of high school, starting college, and I appreciate the experience of what it was, but it really wasn't the best experience. When you become miserable going to your job, no matter what kind of job it is, if you start dreading going to work and all of that, then a job isn't for you, and you really got to figure out, even though if you're in school or you're in between different jobs, try to do something else that's lighter on you, that's really not so heavy on you to where you dread going to work, you're miserable, and you know what I'm saying, you don't really want to live like that, to be honest. You really don't. And how everything ended with them, at the end of the 10 months, it was close to holiday season again, and I said, "Oh, I had to leave for 3 months to go to school to get some stuff figured out, and I was supposed to come back." And a lot of people leave for school and come back, and it was no problem because I seen people do it. But for some reason, it was, like I said, it was always a problem. I had told them, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go to school for this certain amount of time. I'm gonna come back towards the end of the semester." And they was like, "Oh, no problem. Just give us a call. We have you still in the system, blah, blah, blah." And everything was cool, right? Everything was, "Oh, you're set to go. Okay. Good luck in school, whatever." So then at the end of the semester, I'm calling them back, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is Tony. I'm trying to call back, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to come back. The semester is over, blah, blah, blah." And don't you know, 3 different occasions, 3 different people I talked to, they was like, "Oh, it's too late. Oh, you should have called earlier." Mind you, I called the week they told me to call. And they said, "Oh, you should have called earlier. You should have did this. You should have did that. Oh, I don't know." It wasn't nothing but to just have me reenact my employee thing back in the system. It don't take nothing to do that, because at my other job that I got next, when I had to leave and come back, they did it easily for me. But for some reason, it was such a problem. And it was just and you know what? I thought about it, and at first I was mad, but I said, "You know what? This is in a way, this is a blessing. This is a lesson, and this is like a sign. This is basically a sign saying, you know what? You don't need to come back." That was my sign saying, "Don't come back there. Go do something else. Go get another job. You was kind of miserable working there anyway." So when I tried to come back and they gave me all them problems about coming back and all of that, it was kind of like you know what? Maybe this is happening for a reason. When certain things happen, it's for a reason. And sometimes you got to learn the hard way, and you just got to figure it out as you go. But I thought about it. I said, "You know what? I'm going to find something else." And within 2 weeks, I was at another job, better paying job, and I wasn't as miserable as I was there. So, that's just my lesson, and just, following your intuition and things like that. And, retail can be a really tricky business, a really tricky job to get. And that was just my first experience working at my first big retail job, which was Old Navy. And anybody watching who used to work there, what was your experience working there? Or if you never worked there before, what was your experience working in retail in general, dealing with managers, customers, coworkers, or just the way the system or the way retail is laid out for you? And if you never worked there, what is your experience, or what was your experiences shopping at Old Navy? How do you feel shopping at Old Navy? Do you shop at Old Navy? Did you used to shop there and you don't? why don't you shop there no more? You know, just give, you know, let's talk about it down in the comments. This should be a really interesting discussion. You know, retail has always been an interesting topic for me, and I'm trying to start that series back up, which I started like last summer, and you know, getting specifically into stores I worked in. So let me know in the comments what you thought about Old Navy, whether you worked there or shopped there or both, and you know, let's get this discussion going. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell by the subscribe button so you can always see when I post. And thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.